Hello everybody, I'm XaoTheArtist, and welcome to my little corner of the internet. This is going to be a pretty short video, but I wanted to share a recent breakthrough I had while trying to animate those elusively smooth, 2D animated, straight up majestic cape physics. Okay, now that you understand why I'm obsessed with trying to create flowy capes in my art, let's talk about what I learned. So I've heard several people give the advice of imagining a ball moving from one end of the cloth to the other in order to represent how the air displaces the cloth. But I've yet to hear a single person say that you can actually just tell the computer to interpolate a ball moving in a very consistent and smooth manner, and then use the ball as reference for when the air is displacing your cape. Now, I'm sure this isn't necessary for people who've been animating for years and have mastered cloth physics already, but as someone who's just started to get into animation seriously, this was immensely helpful in maintaining the consistency that is demanded of you to get cloth that looks truly flowing. Now, you should be able to do this in any animation software, but I'm going to show you how to do it in Clip Studio Paint real quick. So when we first load up Clip Studio Paint, the first thing we're going to do is go over here to the top left, File, New. We're going to start a new animation project, the small film icon right here. The specifications of like your frame rate and your width and height, that's not really important to what we're doing, but I'm using 1920 by 1080, 300 DPI, and 24 frames per second. If you don't have the timeline window or you can't see it for some reason, go up to Window and then about the middle it says Timeline, and make sure that is checked on so you can see your timeline. Now right here we're just going to add a ball. We're going to go to ellipses, hold shift to make sure it's a perfect circle. You can do a normal ball or a dragon ball. It doesn't really make much of a difference, I'm going to be honest. And right here we see we have an animation folder and we have one frame with our ball. So the key thing we need to do is go up here to all the little buttons right here on the timeline, and we're going to click Enable Keyframes on this layer. And then, once that happens, you'll notice a little box, this tiny little box over here on the far left, the graph editor, that becomes visible, as in it's not grayed out where you can't click on it. So once we do that, we can click on the graph editor, and here's where we can actually tell Clip Studio to interpolate the ball moving. So we're going to start by adding a keyframe, like just right here. We'll start here. And you'll see a few dots appear, and then a bunch of lines. Those are for different things like position, scale ratio, center of rotation, and other things. And then we're going to go to the end of our animation, and we're going to say where we want our ball to end up. So I'm going to want it on the left side of the screen, like this. Now you'll see it automatically generates a curve between the point to the first keyframe and the second keyframe. Now, if we play our animation, you see the ball moves from left to right. You can also adjust the curves to change how it interpolates. For example, I believe if it's curved, it is more ease in and ease out. So if I were to make it very straight and not curved, it should have less ease in out. It moves at a more constant rate. That's pretty much everything. I would recommend you look up the manual for Clip Studio online if you want to learn more about exactly how the interpolation curves work in Clip Studio, as I have a pretty surface level understanding of them, at least for now. Once you have the curves to your liking, the last step is to draw the cloth lines accordingly, like so. That's really it. Hope you found this helpful. If you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing and stay tuned for any future animation that I do. Bye!